You never want to take iron supplements. Iron is the most toxic mineral that you can consume. And so if you are unknowingly taking and being exposed to too much iron over time, your organs are going to start to accumulate iron. Your tissues are going to get iron overload. Even certain people have a genetic problem where they accumulate too much iron and they cannot get rid of it, which is very dangerous. You might not even be aware of how much iron is in your daily life. I mean, this is really important because you might not even be aware of how you're getting exposed to iron from all sorts of, strange places. Let me just kind of cover all the risk factors if you have iron overload. Number one, cancer, especially colorectal. Number two, liver disease. I'm talking about scar tissue, inflammation of the liver, which leads to cirrhosis. Heart disease, because if you think about iron, think about rust. It rusts the inside of your body if you have too much. Low testosterone, low libido, diabetes, chronic fatigue syndrome, infertility, neurodegeneration, and a wide range of inflammatory diseases. I did a video on iron deficiency being the most common mineral deficiency. At the same time, it's the most dangerous if you're getting too much. A toxic amount of iron is the most underdiagnosed, overlooked condition in relationship to all the vitamins and minerals. And so let's just cover the common ways that you get iron that you might not even be aware of. One way that people are being overloaded is with their supplements, especially the one-a-days. I do not recommend getting a one-a-day supplement with iron. And you don't absorb much, which means a lot of it accumulates and sits around in your digestive tract, which means that it is time to cause constipation, nausea, diarrhea, bloating, irritation in the colon. You really only absorb like 10% of it, and the rest just kind of irritates the digestive tract. The type of iron that most people are taking through supplements is the type that will feed pathogens in your digestive tract. Pathogens love to eat iron, and you can very easily get an overgrowth of pathogens by giving them too much of the iron food. The heme iron in red meat and even in fish get absorbed a lot more, at least 35% absorption. And it goes right into the blood, which means there's very little free iron that's left in the digestive tract. Plus, in red meat, you have a lot of other nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B1, B12, zinc, selenium, and high-quality protein, which can then act to help balance out iron, as compared to just like taking a supplement with higher amounts of iron. Let me just first touch on this genetic problem with iron. This is not as rare as you might think, and what's interesting in that condition is the person usually has way too much iron in their body, but at the same time, they're deficient. And that's really the theme of this video. When people have too much iron or they have not enough iron, they really have a iron dysfunction. It's not as simple as just taking more iron and solving the problem. Beyond the one-a-day supplement, you also have iron supplements, which I highly recommend you never take those. Again, get your iron from actual food. If you're menstruating, for example, and you're losing blood, eat more red meat or take grass-fed liver pills. When you consume bread or pasta in the US, it is so heavy with iron, it's going to sit in your gut. You're going to feel so bloated because the iron is messing with your microbes and it's irritating your gut because it's not absorbed that well. But the grains itself don't help. Just look on the back of the label with every junk food that you would eat. They have iron added, but you might not even read it as iron. I'm just going to give you 3 different types of hidden iron that you might not even recognize as iron. Ferrous fumarate, ferrous sulfate, ferrous gluconate is another type of iron. Supplements, fortification, cast iron pots. When you cook with cast iron, you're leaching out a lot of the wrong type of iron. If you drink a lot of alcohol, your liver is going to get damaged. And if you have any liver damage at all, that alone can cause you to accumulate iron. The biggest way that most people have dysfunctional iron is a lack of copper. Copper is more higher level and helps control iron. There are many, many different enzymes that are dependent on copper that relate directly to the control of iron. The first enzyme with copper converts iron to a form that is less accumulative in your body. It changes this toxic iron into something that's safer. Copper also allows you to transport iron through the body. If you don't have copper, you can't transport iron effectively, so you accumulate iron. Copper is involved in a very powerful antioxidant to reduce oxidation that comes from iron. When you combine iron with something in the body called hydrogen peroxide, which your body makes, certain cells make, you form one of the most deadly free radicals in existence. It creates the most damage in the body, and it comes from hydrogen peroxide and iron. Copper helps reduce this oxidative stress, this rusting out in the body. Copper is necessary to make heme. This is the protein that allows iron to carry oxygen. You're saying, well, wait a second, I don't think I'm deficient in copper. I want to give you some data on that too, because you might be deficient in copper. And I'm not telling you to go take a copper supplement, because just as we have copper deficiencies, there's also a copper toxicity problem as well. Let me just quickly go down the list of things that really create a copper deficiency. One is glyphosate. The chemical Roundup Ready binds more to the copper than any other mineral in the ground. If you're eating any food with that glyphosate, boy, you are not getting any copper at all. A lot of the farming methods now just completely destroy the soil, so you're not getting these trace minerals, especially copper. Certain antibiotics work by depleting copper, so that's another way to become copper deficient. High fructose corn syrup blocks copper absorption big time. When you consume any of the cereals or the breads or the wheat products, that can bind up the copper as well. The point I'm trying to bring to your awareness is that iron deficiency anemia is really iron dysfunctional anemia, which many times is related to a mere copper deficiency. And so the best foods for copper are oysters, shellfish, organ meats. Like I said in the beginning, never take iron supplements. Get your iron from actual food, animal food. Don't forget the copper as well, because many people have a problem with iron simply because they're deficient in copper. And if you want a little more information about copper, you should check out this video right here. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here, called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here, called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book, because there's some only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies, with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto and Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.